podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a
Podcast.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, and welcome to the smooth and sexy sounds of Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I have nothing smooth or sexy to offer, so
I know you don't.
I don't know why you set the bar too high. This is Nick Gambino.
Listen.
This is Nick Gambino. Hey, this is Nick Gambino.
Okay.
There. Say your name.
And this is Neil Carson.
We definitely ruined the sexy and smooth
I just said,
sounds.
you hadn't cleared this with me. We hadn't actually all voted on this smooth and sexy.
I didn't go to school for this.
All right. Well, I don't clear shit with you, fucker.
Wow.
I just associate with you.
Are we
I don't know what
cursing
that
on
means.
this podcast?
I don't know.
We're like almost 50 fucking episodes anything. Are we
I feel
cursing
like
on
I've
this
never
podcast?
heard.
now?
I feel like I've never heard Diego cuss.
What? You know what? That stood out actually to me too. I was
It
like,
did
that was
stand
really
out.
vulgar there, Diego.
Was it?
But like we've cursed like motherfuckers throughout
I
this
know.
entire run.
I've cursed before in
it
this
was something
podcast.
about it.
Yeah.
Maybe because you did it from the get go. Like maybe because
Yeah,
it's
maybe
it's
usually
early
it's
on.
like
Too
it's
soon?
Like, half
It's
hour
too
in.
soon.
Too soon? Wait to
Yeah.
get into the argument and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, because you usually hear when I'm arguing or
Yeah.
debating.
Yeah.
and
But
stuff, so that's
this
true.
is a versus episode, so blood should be boiling.
Blood versus water.
That doesn't
I don't
make-
know what that
doesn't make
means.
any
It's
sense.
the best verse.
I don't know what that means,
The best
but
verse.
it,
Means-
works
that
out.
means nothing.
It does.
It means
You drink
nothing.
water, you spill blood.
What?
That was deep. What is wrong with me today?
What is going on? I don't know what is happening.
No idea what's happening.
Maybe it's this holiday season stuff. I
Stop
don't know.
blaming it on anything but
don't
your
know.
inner demons.
It is my
Jesus.
inner demon.
All right.
All right. Anyways.
Well, what are we
Nick,
doing today? Can you stop?
Well,
fucking
I was
with
gonna
your
ask
thing?
you. I'm trying to
you're
fix
messing
my
with your
mic.
mic. I can hear it in my ear.
Oh, well, I'm trying to fix it.
It looks ridiculous. Turn it upside down. Hey, mine's perfect.
Rotate it.
Hey, rotate it. Just
I
rotate
understand the rotation, but
No, turn it upside. No, this so that the. Did you split it all the way down the middle?
No, I did not.
Then flip it the other
People
way.
don't understand
Oh.
there's no context right now what
Flip-
we're talking about. Can we
Wait.
just start?
They'll
Is that so
understand.
you can see me with one eye?
Yes.
No, is that why? He's got
There's
this
like
soundproof
one
pad
eyeball.
thing. What are these things called again? These little styrofoam.
Soundproof pads.
That is not the technical name. Fuck out of here.
Well,
Anyways,
what's the technical name, Nick?
like soundproof?
They're like
Soundproof
styrofoam.
foam pads.
Yeah,
Foam-
you want to say styrofoam?
Phone?
Foamies?
Phone?
Foamies?
Foam?
Okay, but are you good now?
I'm good.
You got your shit correct?
Yeah, I need to see my screen. I need to
Okay.
focus.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Start the fucking podcast right now
Here we
because I
go.
already did the intro
Here
and
we
we're
go.
way beyond our past point, which I don't know what that is.
What is going on? Are we drinking this early in the morning? Okay. All right, here we go. We're doing a
the
versus
eggnog.
episode.
What's
We're
in
doing a
that
versus
coffee, man? What's in
episode.
that coffee?
We're doing a versus episode.
Yes.
Say that one more time.
We're doing a
White
versus
Christmas
episode.
versus Black Christmas.
Well, black's going to win every time.
Wait, what?
It's
Wait,
2017.
No, White Christmas.
White's going down, man.
Dude, come on.
White's going to be extinct or endangered within the
Have you
next...
guys seen the original Black Christmas?
Okay,
I've
so
not seen Black Christmas. I've seen White Christmas.
what are
Come on,
y'all
listen.
talking
Okay,
about?
but we're not doing Black
It's
Christmas versus
it's
White
a
Christmas.
horror Christmas movie.
No,
We're not doing that.
we are doing. Here's what we're
Black
doing.
Christmas.
Here's what we're doing. And I know
Go
that
watch
this
it.
is a split. This is a thing out there. Like people are like on opposite ends of this. This is a raging war that's been going on
It's
for
a
about 25
huge
years.
topic out there.
Home Alone versus Home Alone 2: Lost in New York.
And Home Alone 2 is a clear winner.
Is a clear winner?
Our
Clearly-
diction
clearly
is
a
for
winner?
shit today.
Oh my god.
This is so slipshod. This is not a professional podcast.
Hey, welcome
God.
to the la 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 la.
God.
We're-
Okay,
yeah.
so
Okay.
Home Alone 2 versus Home Alone 1. That's how it should be stated.
Okay, whatever, dude.
All right, so it's Home Alone versus Home Alone 2.
Yes, mediate this shit.
So I don't even know which one I'm picking right now.
You don't know?
I'm
Okay.
kind of
Well,
flashbacking and going through the lines, the scenes, and trying to figure out
So I know-
as I sneak peeks
I know.
through-
Hold on. This one eyeball thing is just throwing me off, man.
Why, 'cause you
I
can
feel
see
like
through
I
the
can't
slot?
take him seriously. There's a slot, and I just see one eyeball, and I hear his voice.
Diego, flip the thing. I'm telling you.
I know.
Go rip it. What are you doing?
Oh,
Oh, man.
All right.
I'm done.
All right.
Done. No, I understand what he's saying. No,
right.
even if I flip
You
it,
ripped it.
it'll
It won't
still
bleed.
be.
No, this is what. Look at me.
I know what you're doing. There's
don't
another one right there. I can get more.
Look.
It's okay.
Look, I have it perfect.
I get
No,
it.
but the table's higher, so you see what I'm saying?
No, he just needs to sit up. This is ridiculous.
That'll help.
I mean, will it? It
All
won't
right.
do anything.
So-
okay, let's get to the argument.
Yeah, like I don't know. I love Home Alone.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
get me
So
wrong. We
first
all love
off,
Home
let's
Alone.
just set it off real quick. It's Home
Yeah.
Alone versus Home Alone 2. You're taking the side of Home Alone 2. I'm taking the side of Home Alone. We both love both movies. We're gonna put that there because we're gonna say some very hurtful things throughout this argument.
Okay.
We're gonna say I may drop a couple F bombs. You may drop a couple N bombs because as you're known to do, and
Holy shit. I
But-
left to
but-
fix my mic.
but I want it to
for
be clear.
5 seconds, and this is what happens.
I want it to be clear. I love both movies. I think they're almost comparable, but one has a
Wow.
slight edge. And
Yeah, it's
okay.
Home Alone too.
All right, go. Home Alone 2. What were you gonna say?
What do you mean go?
You were gonna say
I'm going to
something.
be in the middle.
All right,
of
here,
this.
here. I'm gonna drop some bombs. All right.
Some N bombs. Go ahead.
Now this is I'm not demeaning Home Alone 1 at all. I love Home Alone 1. I saw that movie like 1,000 times. It was in theaters for over a year when it came out. Like I went and saw it, and I probably saw it like 10 times
In
the
Times
theater.
Square?
Like let's see, that's Times Square.
What's it-
No,
what's it-
not in Times Square.
What does-
But
Oh my gosh. This Times Square shit.
which it doesn't even make sense. I mean, Home Alone 2 would make more sense if you saw.
I
that
say
in
I
Times
actually
Square.
didn't see the first one in Times Square. I did see Home Alone 2 in Times
So-
Square in the National Twin Theater in 1992 when it came out.
Yeah, that should. Did it come out in 92?
92, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the first one was 90, yeah. Okay, go.
Yeah, it's and I saw Home Alone 2, and to me, Home Alone 2, like maybe it was my age, like the age I was more comparable to Kevin McAllister in the second film than in the first film, and the fact that he was in New York City on his own, running through the city, like I'd never been to New York City at that time, so
Okay.
it was like that was more of an adventure to me. In the first film, he's home alone, and
Right.
Home Alone 2 is kind of a misnomer. I mean, it does say Home Alone 2: Lost in New York is the actual
title
title of the
Yeah.
film.
He's
But,
home. It's Home Alone 2 Hotel Alone.
Dude, okay. There's so many things. I mean,
Home Alone 2.
Hold on.
Hotel,
First of all, he's
motel,
in New York.
Holiday
He's not in
Inn.
Chicago in a suburb home, which it wouldn't be. I mean, as a kid, being like, living in like a mini mansion and being there by yourself, having access to like all the food and pizza and loud music and all, like that sounds like it could be fun.
Okay.
But he's in New York City, dude, in the second film. He's all over New York City.
Right.
He's running into all these crazy scenarios. He goes to Duncan's Toy Chest, which is incredible.
It is.
It's like the most bomb.
It was very iconic.
Yeah.
It wasn't
very-
real, but it was
It's
definitely
very
awesome.
Christmas iconic
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
Dude, and he's in the Plaza Hotel with his parents' credit cards, charging him up, getting whatever the hell he wants, and like,
Meets Donald
Dude.
Trump. Yeah.
he does meet Donald Trump.
Ooh, is that a plus or a minus?
Well, we're not going to get into that.
I mean, at the
Yeah.
time, it was probably kind of cool. He bumps into him.
Yeah.
But like, dude, come
Yeah.
on. I mean,
Okay,
there's so much more.
Here's how
There's
I think.
so much
Okay.
more.
Okay. Well, so I'd let you say your piece on that.
The Talk Boy,
Okay, that's fine. Listen.
Talk Boy.
Listen.
Rob Snyder.
Here's the thing.
Rob Snyder.
I was basically Home Alone 2 found in New York. That was my life as a kid. Like, I was there, and I loved it because I do love that New York element. I love seeing movies from the late 80s, early 90s that were like the essence of my childhood in New York. So I loved it for that factor alone. But there were a lot of things in the second one which were basically just beat for beat recreations of the first one.
It just seems that way.
No.
There's
The-
so
the-
many
no, here-
things that are in the
here's
second
the
one
thing.
that are not.
No, totally,
Not even
absolutely.
close
And that's
to
why I
the
love the second one. It does do different things. They could have just left him home again, but it was a plausible thing where you think they left him. She goes, Kevin, and then he's like, I'm right here, and like he's in the van. He makes it to the airport this time,
Yeah.
and then he's trying to replace the batteries, and he follows the wrong guy onto the plane.
Yeah. The guy
Right?
literally looks exactly like his
Yeah, he's
dad
got
from
the
behind.
jacket's the same basically, and he's got the red scarf or whatever. So it's all very plausible. And he ends up in New York, and he has his headphones on, so he doesn't hear the pilot say where they're actually going. So
Talk Boy.
yeah, no. When he's on the, oh, you mean he's plugged into his Talk Boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he was listening to
he?
music. He's listening to music.
Well, I mean, you can put a cassette in it and play music.
Yeah, okay, so maybe it was he was doing off Talk Boy, I guess. Anyways, that's besides the point. The whole thing, that's all great, but if you look at like the Bird Lady, that's just basically another recreated character from the first one, the old man.
In many ways, I feel
She
like the
doesn't
bird lady
have
is more fleshed out than the old man in the first
No,
one.
I feel like that's less so. The lady is basically you don't ever see her family first off, but she's another old person who's taking advice from a 10-year-old kid who's giving her the most Hallmark card bite-sized advice that really you're homeless and you live with pigeons now and like
she lived at Carnegie Hall.
All it was gonna take
Carnegie
Hall. All it took
How
was for like
awesome
some
is that?
little
Yeah,
kid,
she did.
little
In
kid
the attic, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
some little kid to be
Yeah.
like, hey, you should like forgive your family. And
But the only reason in the first film that they were afraid of the old guy was because Buzz was making up lies about him, saying he like beat someone
He
to
was
death
scarier.
with his, shovel. Only because they were younger and they were more susceptible to Buzz's lies.
It was awesome,
This
though.
is an old lady in New York City. Like she could have been straight out of an insane asylum, murdered 30 people, and escaped.
Right.
Talking about I like feeding the birds and stabbing people with knives. Like
Right.
he doesn't know. That's a far sketchier situation.
But which one's scarier looking? She looked like a nice matronly old
The
London
taxi
woman.
driver
I
in
didn't
Home
think she
Alone
was-
Yeah,
2.
it ain't
Oh,
much
yeah.
better in here, kid.
Yeah.
It's a great scene.
Dude.
Okay, here's how I feel about the first movie. The first movie I feel is a better film. I like the second movie because it's got the whole New York
Hold
element.
on.
It has the
Is this the reason you like the first one just because John Candy's in it? I feel like a lot of
Oh,
people
that's
forget
a big
that John Candy is in
Oh,
it.
I don't forget
That
that,
is
at all.
a
I
big-
do love.
Yeah.
He goes, we sold about 630 copies.
Yeah, what was the name of
in
their
Chicago? No, Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
the polka.
Polkas?
The polkas. What was their name of their? I don't know. But he's like, we had a few hits back in the early 70s. Polka, 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 polka twist. Polkas. It was
That
great.
was one of his last movies, right?
No,
Like,
no,
was
he was.
JFK
He died
after
3
that?
years later. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Nick.
There's a few movies.
Only the lonely.
Oh, okay, so he did do a
He
handful.
did a-
Let me ask you this.
Canadian
So
bacon.
you're for the first Home Alone.
Yes.
Okay. Is it because all those scenes, because you lived in New York and you've seen a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because that stuff wasn't so iconic to you in Home Alone 2 because you've seen all that before? So it wasn't, because back in the day we weren't so like everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
And things were kind of a mystery. So to me, Home Alone 2, when I saw it and seeing New York, it was this, I had this grandeur feeling.
Yeah.
New York was
So did
this
I.
big city. It was incredible. And you being in New York, did it minimize that for you?
It's actually a really good question. I lived within 10 blocks of all of the scenes in that movie. Like literally, like within 10
I think
blocks.
you lived
So-
10 blocks away from every fucking film that was filmed in New York.
No, because
They film
But I was
everything
in
in Times
Midtown
Square.
Manhattan. Okay.
They called Nick. They were like, "Hey Nick, can we film in your block?"
No, but like
Wait, did you see them filming this?
no, I don't remember them filming it. It's unfortunate. Like there's so many movies filmed in New York over time that
That's true.
I missed
like
that
they
one.
had
I didn't
to.
know they were filming. I do Die Hard with a Vengeance. Saw them filming that.
Oh, that's
This is
their
exactly
Die
what
Hard
happened.
movie.
Hey, Mr.
I
Mr.
will-
Gambino. Hey, look, we gotta film a movie, so we're calling you to find out if we could come by your block, because we need to ask your permission and get your blessing. See if we could film around your
this-
neighborhood.
Is
That
that Joe
sounds like
Pesci?
Damon Wayans.
that
Actually,
Damon-
sounds like a Damon Wayans from
When he
like In Living
plays-
Color.
When he
that
played
the
the
call you
homeless
got?
dude. The guy who lived in the cardboard box.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like. a
My
little bit.
name is Antoine Jackson,
That's it.
and I live in a box.
That's right. That's the good.
Oh, hold on a second. That was my napalm.
That was really good.
That's actually really good.
And he recreated
That
that
was
character in Mo Money.
Fucking
actually.
have a Merry fucking Christmas.
There you go.
All right, anywho.
Okay, but so that's possible. I mean, I did grow up in that area, so like every spot he was in was very familiar to me. But I did love my neighborhood too, so you would think in that way I would identify with it more. And even later on, like I did move away from New York for like 1 to 2 years when I was like 11 or 12 or whatever, and that gave me a more of an appreciation for New York. When I did finally go back, I was like, I fucking miss this place. Like I really love it. So you would think that later on when I watch the movie again, I'd be like even identify with it even more because I was like, I fucking love the city.
Yeah.
I have so much, love for it. I really do. So you would think that would actually make me like the second one more. I just watched the films back to back, and I feel like the first film, because it was the first one, everything was new in it. Everything they were doing, every scene. And the second one, they rehashed even all the booby-trapped building, although there was all new things and there were twists on them. That is what I love about the second one, though. I'll advocate for the second one for the second.
He's falling.
For a moment.
Here it
I
comes.
love that they
Here it
took.
comes,
They
ladies and
created
gentlemen.
all new booby trap things, and ones that you thought were going to be the same, he ended
Oh,
up throwing a twist on them, which
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
It's interesting. Like
And I do love Tim Curry. And
Yeah.
Rob Schneider.
Oh my god,
And
dude.
Cliff.
Oh my god.
Mo with the gimpy leg. And Cliff, it's simply not true.
It's a lie.
It's a lie.
Um,
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a happy
Oh,
New
yeah,
Year.
dirty.
That was my
Angel.
ending.
Or what was it?
Merry Christmas, you
You filthy animal. And a happy New Year. That's in the second one. Yeah.
Ali Sheedy
No, it was
as the
a
ticket
sequel.
Ali
agent.
Sheedy. Yeah.
Ali Sheedy.
Sheedy, yeah. Sheedy.
Ali Sheedy from.
I will say the first time I went to New York City, like when I was walking down, I was in Times Square and I was like walking down the street and I look up and there's like skyscrapers and I had never seen a skyscraper before because I grew up in the DC area, so it was like everything's small.
Yeah.
So like I felt like Kevin McAllister when he's like looking around, like literally in my mind as I think I was 17 or something, I'm
Yeah.
like looking around and there's like this wonder about these, and it was a storm or something, so like there was like a fog level that you couldn't see the top of the building, so it was
Yeah.
like it was below the height of the buildings, and I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But that was my go-to as in my mind was Home Alone 2.
Right. Now,
So to me, it's a grander.
it's grander
more
and less
fleshed out.
plausible,
There's
though.
more going on.
Less
it is
plausible.
far less plausible. That is true, which is okay with me.
Yeah, right, but that's where it kind of gets a little bit lost for me. Why I think the first one's a more grounded film. It feels like a better, more solid film because the second one feels made up. Like the fact that he even runs into Harry and Marvin, these people who are fugitives from the law, are just walking down the streets of New York in broad daylight. Like that's a little bit. It's a little implausible.
What are the odds of this happening?
What are the
Yeah,
odds of him running
But how
into
many
them and
times
them
have you
see-
bumped
But how
into
much-
someone you haven't seen in 10 years at like a
In New York?
supermarket?
in New York on the streets of New York? I literally wouldn't see people from my block anywhere off my block.
I'm just telling you.
I remember the
crazier
first time.
things have
No,
happened.
I remember the first
Crazier
time.
things have happened.
I remember the first time one of my neighbors, I saw them all the way down on 34th Street, like 14 blocks away. I blew my fucking mind because I never seen anybody from my block off my block. Like it was just so weird because the city, like literally, you walk away from your block and you just get sucked into the city. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's so unlikely that these people from Chicago, they go from Chicago, a Chicago suburb in the first one, to the second one, the streets of New York at the exact same time,
Yeah.
for him to run into them and them to be standing on the same corner waiting for a light and to recognize him. And then to see him again at the toy chest, and he just happens to go to the same toy store that they're planning to knock over. It gets just very implausible.
Dude,
Now,
they're now the
it-
sticky bandits, which is far more
than the wet
sensical
bandit.
than
No,
the wet
no, it
bandits.
doesn't actually, because it doesn't actually
Wet
have a
bandits
call
doesn't
guard.
make any sense. They flood the house for no reason.
Yeah,
There's
but the
literally
sticky
no
bandits-
reason to flood the
sticky
house.
bandits makes less fucking sense
No,
because
because they got the sticky.
and what does it do? How does that fucking work
'Cause
out on a home
when
invasion
they
or any
paint-
sort
when
of
they
like
grab-
burglary?
No,
Catch
dude,
bugs.
They
that
don't
scene-
use it at the Duncan Choice chest. He just uses it when he sticks his hand in the Santa Claus thing, and he goes, "That's stupid, Marv." And Marv gets it this time.
It
He
just
goes,
sounds
"You're right."
cooler. It sounds cooler.
It
that,
sounds
Dude, that
pornography.
scene
It's
when
pornographic.
Kevin assaults that woman on the corner.
Yes, he bitches her
And
ass.
then-
That's not right.
And then what happens? Like,
Ma chérie,
how does
or
his
whatever.
hand?
Hello. No, it
Doesn't
goes
his
hello.
sticky hand get stuck on something? God, what is he? I'm trying to remember here.
Oh well, he starts stealing scarves and hats and shit with the sticky hand. He does that.
yeah.
Um,
I feel like that at some point that hand gets stuck on
on a girl's ass or
on
something
a
like
lady.
that. It does sound
Does it?
familiar.
I think
don't-
it does. Yeah, I remember that.
No,
vividly.
I don't think it happens,
No?
but it does seem like that happened.
I think he was trying to. If I remember correctly, there was a scene where he was trying to get his hand unstuck, and it got stuck on the lady's bottom, and it was a bigger lady.
Oh.
No, that
I have
doesn't
to watch
happen.
it. You just
Yeah.
watched it.
I watch it all the time. I'm just trying to think if there's that scene. There's a scene where he's stealing the hats and gloves, which is great while they're ice skating.
Yeah.
It is a great scene. First off,
The fact that he uses it throughout the whole movie
okay,
as a thing.
Now,
is
I'm ragging on the
hilarious.
fact that they brought back these characters in this implausible situation.
They're the best
But they
characters.
are fantastic. I'm so glad they didn't come up with new, like they did in the third Home Alone movie. They had these Russian
Oh, no,
spies.
we
It
don't
was
talk
terrible.
about those. I've never seen any of the sequels.
I have. They
after
get
Home
they
Alone
get
2.
really bad. But the second one, the fact that they brought Daniel Stern
They
and
should
Joe
have just
Pesci back was
genetically
great.
stopped Macaulay Culkin from aging, so he
Yes.
could continue to just make.
He barely
films
wanted to do Home
indefinitely.
Alone 2. He only did it because they greenlit and allowed him to do The Good Son. He
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
going to do it, and they were like, literally, what can we do to get you to do this
I
movie?
feel like they did. That was smart because
Yeah,
The
'cause
Good
he was
Son
looking to do more
definitely
adult stuff.
like disabused me of this idea that
He's a little
Macaulay
page
Culkin-
master, Kevin
Yeah.
McAllister. Yeah, he wanted to get out of that. He wanted to do more adult
Well, he sure did.
films. He sure
Yeah,
did.
that was a dark ass movie.
He sure
The
did.
good son.
Yeah,
Um,
so but Home Alone 2, I do like the fact that they brought Harry and Marv back because I love them. And the scenes in that building, all those booby trap things is great. That scene where Marv gets the paint all over him, and then he goes to like touch the faucet knobs, and he electrocutes him.
And it was like caked. Like he was like peeling it out, like gooping
everything,
it out of
and his
eyeballs.
hair is out to here, and he just
And it's-
gets electrocuted, and he's screaming that scream, and then he turns into a skeleton. It's great, which is totally a Planes, Trains,
Very
and Automobiles
slapstick.
thing
Yeah.
that they did in which was another John Hughes movie.
The
Planes,
trucks.
Trains, and yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
with the trucks. And then fucking
The kerosene-filled toilet.
yes, where he gets the flamed head and then he does a handstand into the toilet and his cat's laid in there. Blows up. I mean, how are these guys not dead?
Okay, when he starts to go up the stairs and then he grabs him and moves him away, and then you see the one paint can, and he's like, "Oh, right,
the snosh.
and he's like, "Oh, he got me," and he's like, "That's two, let's go."
Let's go.
And then it's a lead bar.
Oh my god!
Like when I saw that in theaters, I was like, "This is the greatest moment."
I think that's the
or
thing
when they're
about
listening
in
to the
film
door and they
history.
hear the thing coming down the
Like,
stairs.
what's
What is that? It's the tool chest.
Oh yeah.
And they're looking at each other, and it just slams into them.
They are. Oh my god! And I know you were gonna say something, Diego. I just gotta say the bricks.
Yeah.
The
The
brick
brick.
scene. The brick
Yeah.
scene. When I saw that, okay, there are more laugh out loud moments in Home
my
Alone
God,
2 than the
yes.
first one. That
Yes.
I'll give you. I remember
Wait.
laughing at that brick scene so hard, my sides were aching.
He said
Yeah.
that I'll give you, and you listen to his response
it's
afterward.
ridiculous.
He's
This
like
guy's-
falling.
I
into,
told you they're
Here's
close.
the
He
thing.
I told
hasn't
you
Here's
given
the
one
thing.
reason why the first one is better.
I have actually.
No, see,
one solid.
here's the
reason.
problem: is that you're talking about a great and incredible, fun film,
Yes.
which is the first one,
Yeah,
and then they took it up a notch on the second one.
huge.
But
notch.
they
A
really
huge
did.
notch.
They did.
Christopher
they
Columbus outdid himself.
Yes, and they brought Tim
Yeah.
Curry and Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
They absolutely they brought that whole element.
You
in.
have
They
the
had
Wet Bandits,
the
then
big
you
pizza.
added Tim Curry.
Wait, hold on.
You added Rob Schneider.
the big pizza in the limousine.
The
absolutely.
pizza and the limousine.
Now, but
Even that transition
But-
from Tim Curry into the Grinch was just
I
like it's such a
remember-
memorable
oh my
scene.
God.
There's so many
where
moments
he's
in that
smiling.
film. That second
Yeah, it goes
film.
from the Grinch
Yeah.
smiling to the Tim Curry
because
smile.
he caught,
Yeah.
he, like, found
Always
all
remember
the,
that.
false credit card statements
Yes.
or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, stolen. It was reported as a stolen
reported
card. or
stolen,
whatever,
yeah.
Now, yes, it is more laugh out loud.
Oh
funny,
my god!
but it
This
gets
is not.
lazy.
If you haven't seen it, it's a spoiler. But at the scene at the end,
Oh,
where like
we're
Duncan
spoiling
sent like
it.
a trillion toys to and they're in like the what is it
The
called?
plaza?
the Plaza Hotel.
What, at the
Yeah.
top, at the
The
penthouse
penthouse.
or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I'm like, that would be the greatest Christmas ever. Like you're in the penthouse suite, your whole family's there, and there's just like a trillion gifts from some unknown donor or whatever. Like, dude, it was like the greatest. And then Kevin, to make it even more better.
More better.
Like, it's like, you know what, guys, this is great and all, but I got to go see about this old lady and help her out and have this whole conversation about the turtle doves and all that stuff. And like,
That was
and you're
great.
like, he didn't have to do that. And it's like him growing up and becoming
Okay.
an adult and not
And his
being a
mom finds
selfish
him again?
child.
So let's talk about that for a second.
you're
I
like,
have an
wow,
issue. I have an
wow.
issue. I have an issue.
It was
Here's my
amazing.
issue. Here's my
Yeah, you
issue.
do.
He happens to
Dropping
find her at the
bombs.
pond in Central Park.
They
Fine.
worked this out in advance.
Yeah, of course they did in a deleted scene. Here's
No,
the issue
it was the
I
dove
have-
communication.
Oh, shut up. Here's the issue I
You
have.
just have a continuity
Kevin,
problem?
you spent $785 on room service or whatever the amount was.
So great.
And he can hear him from the penthouse suite of the plaza, and he's at the pond. That's just implied.
Have
In
you
the first-
ever met
Hold
his
on.
mom?
No, that was his dad.
That was the dad.
His
In
dad,
the
yeah.
first movie, he's in the house, and he goes, Kevin, what'd you do in my room? Like Buzz says that, right? At the end. Like, but he's in the house. He's a couple rooms over.
He
That
trashed.
second one, it ends on that, and then he goes like that, and he just starts running. I'm like, where are you running, kid? You're in the middle of a conversation. They're
sensed
nowhere
it.
near you, and then it goes, and it fades
It was
to black.
his sixth
No.
sense.
Then it
that,
fades to black, and it feels very abrupt. The first one,
Okay,
also,
hold on a second.
No,
We're gonna
I
stop.
love that
wait,
ending.
wait.
I love that
We're gonna
ending.
stop this podcast for a second because you will not take away that ending.
No, I love the
Do
ending.
not
I actually
ruin.
even, I love the
you
things
just
that Chris
ruined
said.
one of the
You're like,
best
there's a
endings.
scene where there's like a foot that shouldn't be in the right place.
yeah,
These are the things you're
exactly.
arguing.
I'm just saying
I'm sorry, that tree
No.
shouldn't have been there. There's no tree like that in Central Park.
Well,
Who the fuck
well,
are you?
we're gonna talk about that. That Duncan's toy chest doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What?
It doesn't exist. Never existed.
Don't
It was-
destroy my
it was kinda
childhood.
based
That's a
on
real
HBO.
place.
He's taking away like
It was
hope.
No,
He-
no. You know what that is?
It's like you're
that's
saying
now
to
a Home
kids right
Depot.
now, there's no
That's
Santa
a Home
Claus.
Depot. I'm serious.
This
That's a Home
motherfucker's telling
Depot.
kids there's no Santa Claus right
Is this
now.
true?
No, that's the Home Depot on
It's not
is it
Home Depot.
34th? Yeah, no, it's fucking. It's a Home Depot. Back then, I don't know
thought
what it was. It was a big
no,
warehouse.
it was
whatever.
a real place. It was
It
a
wasn't
real.
a toy chest. No, they
there?
built the whole thing.
So here's
Look
what
it
happened.
up.
There is
Look it up.
actually a toy store, but it was not
It
called
wasn't called
Dunkin'.
Dunkin's, yeah. It was
They
called
could not.
something
They did
else.
not have the rights to use it because it's a major toy store. They didn't have the rights to use it.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I know.
Yeah, you're
fucking-
totally
I'm trying to
full of
play
shit.
along with you,
dude.
I was fucking trying to play
I
along with you.
lived there. I'm telling you, FAO Schwartz was the big toy store at the time, and that's kind of what
Yes,
it was trying to be.
exactly.
Though it looked cooler. I loved FAO
Yeah.
Schwartz. I used to go there all the time, but that Dunkin's toy chest looked classic. It really looked more homey and cozy, and I always wanted there to be a real Dunkin's toy chest, but it didn't exist. Now,
No,
that
I'm not saying
location
it
is a Home
existed.
Depot. I think it was just like a warehouse or some sort of.
No, I'm not saying it
FAO
existed.
Schwartz was the name of the
Exactly.
building.
FAO Schwartz?
Yeah. No,
Toy
they.
Store itself is in the film's version, a New York City store called FAO.
No, that's not true.
That's what it says right here.
Did they
on
film some of the
IMDb.
scenes in FAO Schwartz? Is that what it's saying? What is
This is the exterior. Oh no, wait.
No,
The
'cause-
exterior of the store is some building in Chicago, actually. The exterior, and then it says the interior is FAO Schwartz in New York City.
No, does it say anything else to it?
That's what it says.
Just Google it. No, seriously.
So
just Google
what
it
I'm
real quick.
saying-
IMDb.
No, I'm telling you, they're incorrect sometimes.
No, what I'm
Remember,
what I'm telling-
Rad is supposed to be called Balls Out. I brought that up to the star of the film, Bill Allen, when we had him on, and he's like, I don't know what that is, and that's the first thing in the trivia for Rad on IMDb. IMDb does not always have accurate information. Just look it up on.
No, yeah, they actually
just Google
don't.
it.
No,
real
so
quick.
what I'm saying is that I'm not saying that was a real toy store.
Right.
I'm saying they wanted to reference what's
FAO
that?
Schwartz.
Yes,
No,
they
no, it
wanted to
definitely was
reference
supposed to be
it.
like that,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But
This motherfucker just shut me down for no. He's like, I understand your point.
Yeah,
Duncan was not a real toy store.
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was
And-
a reference of
right now. Okay. What I'm trying to say is the movie, because it was a sequel, it was grasping for straws. It wanted to make things. It wanted to capture the spirit of the original and wanted to do certain things. So in that way, parts of it became kind of copied. They were copies of the first one. And there were some things that were implausible because they were trying to make this plot work. And it doesn't really fully work. Whereas the first one, totally plausible. Like, they accidentally fucking left him because they were freaked out. They were late. They counted the wrong kid. Thought
Why
it was
does that
him.
make something
hold on.
good or bad?
No. Let me finish my point, and then we'll get to that. We'll get to you, sir. So you have so it's very plausible. He wakes up. He was in the attic because she put him up there. He wakes up, comes down. Everybody's fucking gone. And then he's all alone. He's home alone. And then there's these guys that are like, oh, we're going to hit this block because all these people are going to be out of town for Christmas. We're going to hit this block and we're going to fucking home invade and we're going to steal all this shit. We're going to burglarize all these homes.
Wasn't it the dad that threw his ticket away because they spilled the soda?
Yeah,
and the
we
ticket was on the counter. It got thrown. There's a scene for like half a second where you see Kevin's ticket in the trash can.
Isn't that
Plane
crazy?
ticket.
You saw that video too? It was like on
Yeah.
like
I had
online.
never seen that before.
I've never in
ever.
my life.
And then somebody like slowed down this one scene. It's like like a split second. There's like, oh, Kevin McAllister,
and they circle
his
this
plane
thing.
ticket.
Yeah, when the Pepsi spilled.
That was
in-
like a horrible shot. Like they should have redone. Christopher Columbus should have redone that.
Maybe
made
he
it more
wanted to throw it
obvious.
in there as a thing, like and make it very hard to notice.
Because nobody. It was like 20 years later that somebody finally caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's there.
Yeah,
it's not like
which makes sense all of a sudden because that would have been a plot hole. But yeah, he threw away Kevin's ticket the night before by accident when he cleaned up the spilled Pepsi.
So when
he
they
threw it
counted the
away.
tickets.
When they counted the tickets, well, they counted the people. They had the right amount of people because that one kid was like digging into the van and he had his back turned. So when the girl counted, she counted him as Kevin, but he wasn't Kevin. And then when they had the tickets, they handed out all the tickets and there was none left over. So of course it makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're obviously shitty parents. Like let's not let them get away with that. And they did it twice in the second one.
So finish your statement. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I'm saying is the first one, a very plausible movie. It makes sense. It's just like everything about it was like, it was funny, but it also was like, this all could really happen. The second one was a little bit more of a cartoon version of what happened in the first one. It was a little more of a caricature. Even the skeleton thing with Marv being electrocuted, everything was good.
I'll concede
Thank
that.
you. He even falls like an entire story or two, like on his face or whatever, through
Well,
that one
dude, at
mystic
the end,
thing.
they're climbing that rope that gets lit on fire and they fall like 3 stories and don't die.
No! And the first
They
one...
get hit with a lead pipe and fall through 2 stories of the building, which is my favorite scene.
Oh
in that
my
whole
god,
fucking
everything.
movie.
But
I
even the
love that
first one,
scene.
like the first one, the worst that happens to him in terms of falling or whatever is that he cuts that zip line from the tree house and they
but
slam
even
into the
he would
house.
have fallen like 10 feet.
That's
to
what
the
no, and they
ground or
slam it, they
something.
swing and they like Tarzan style into the house. It's like none of that stuff is really implausible, but they go out of their way to be a lunatic, like lunacy. in this movie.
I
in the second
probably
one.
on purpose because when I watched the first film, it definitely, as a child, you wanted to do these things,
Right.
and then you didn't really think about like, oh, this is actually gonna really mess somebody
Exactly.
up if you did this.
Right, but the first one, I just like the grounded nature of it. I feel like it was just a more, I don't know, not that I can have things going out of their way, but like it's not a supernatural film. So it kind of took license. It was like, you know what, people are big fans of the first one, so they'll just accept more in the second one. That's how it felt, and I felt like that like took away from the not classicness, but I felt like that made it slightly it's slightly below the first one because of that. Like I like the second one so much, which is why I'm not trying to shit on it completely.
Hold on a
I just
second,
feel
Neil.
like, okay, you're also a big fan of Ghostbusters 2 over Ghostbusters 1, Neil. So your argument is null and void. Your argument is
okay.
invalid.
Hold on a second,
Hold
Neil.
on.
Hold on a second. I'm literally like, I'm so focused on his terminology right now. I want
Because
him
I'm
to
trying
finish.
not to trip myself up because I'm like, I
Because
really.
my eyes are on you. Like,
No, 'cause-
I'm listening
I know,
to
I feel you.
to-
I feel you. I feel you inside of me.
Yeah.
No, because I like the second one a
This is
lot.
how Nick tricks you. He like hits you with all
There's
this
no
like
trick.
no truth,
There's
and then
no-
he brings up some argument that's gonna bait you into like going off topic.
No,
He's
yeah.
like Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Well, let me say something because you're a big fan of Ghostbusters 2 over Ghostbusters 1, and that last scene with the Statue of Liberty walking through the
So
city
good.
makes no sense.
The fact that they catch ghosts makes no sense. What are you talking
Yes,
about?
but they all they did was they sprayed pink slime on the inside of the Statue of Liberty. All
It
of a
was
sudden they could control it.
ectoplasm. That's
How
a
do
real
they steer
thing.
it? How do they steer it?
Ecto.
How do they steer the Statue of Liberty? It makes no sense. They're
Dan
literally
Aykroyd
taking
had
left
a control
and
mechanism.
right.
that
They're
he
literally
used.
navigating the grid of New York City.
He
Okay,
was
take a left on Fifth
controlling-
Avenue. Take a right on 62nd. Bullshit.
He was controlling its ethereal chakras.
No,
You don't.
ethereal chakras. But the first one, they don't do anything like that, where it goes outside of the realm of like, wait a minute. Even like if you
Oh
have
my
a
God.
supernatural film, it has rules, and when you start to break rules of what you set in the first movie, it starts to feel weird. And that's all I'm saying. The second one, it violated and broke some of the rules of the first one.
You cray.
With copying some of the formulas of the first one. So I'm like, you're kind of mixing those two up, and it's throwing me off a little bit. I do love the second one. But the first one is a more complete, digestible film, and the second one's a little bit more
If
of a
you
cartoon.
were on a
It's
desert
the-
island and you could only watch Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2, which one would you pick?
He's
Home
gonna
Alone
sing.
2. Obviously. I'm just saying. No, I'm kidding. I'm just trolling you. No.
That's the actual
Oh,
answer.
wait, that's a good
You
question.
just don't
Ask
wanna-
it again. Ask it again.
No, I'm not asking it again.
What, you're
It's
gonna
too late.
answer Home Alone 1?
No, I want to think
He's
about
gonna
it.
answer
If
Home
you
Alone
ask
2
it, I
again.
can bask
Okay,
in
I'll
the-
tell you
the
what.
question.
Let's hold on to that answer.
Yeah.
And answer it at the end of the podcast.
Okay.
So, you said
It was FAO Schwartz.
a couple words that you
actually.
used.
I
You said
checked
that Home Alone
a bunch
2.
of websites.
Inside.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You said that Home Alone 2 tried to do better. You said Home Alone 2 attempted to do certain things. Do you feel like Home Alone 2 took it up a notch?
We took what up a notch?
They took the level of comedy up.
Yes, comedy.
Okay.
Comedy.
But that's what the film is about. It's about comedy and
I'm
Christmas.
saying what's the better film, not
Chris-
which one's
well,
funnier.
hold on a second.
Are we
Because
doing
the
which one's
elements
funnier?
are important to make a better film.
Wait, hold on. What were you gonna say, Neil?
Maybe it's no way it does. See, I'm so confused because there's like it's all over the place. It says it was featured in the film, and
Yeah.
then it says it's the film's the store Duncan's Toy Chest is the film's version of the actual New
Yeah.
York City.
He was
Yeah,
just
that's-
trying to
so
copy
I'm
it.
like, I
That's
don't
what I'm
know.
saying.
It
That's
wasn't
exactly
filmed.
what it is.
Listen,
So,
I
so they
knew-
didn't film inside.
I went to
No,
FAO.
no.
There was a time period I went to FAO Schwartz almost every week, and I know the ins and outs of that store. Or I used to. It's closed now. But that movie was absolutely not filmed in FAO Schwartz inside or out. But it was supposed to basically. I think
Reference.
They
It was a reference.
There's a possibility they wanted FAO Schwartz and they couldn't use it or something
That's what I
happened.
said. This motherfucker cut me off
Nobody
earlier, and that's what I'm saying.
Nobody
He was like, no.
listens to
He
you.
was like, no,
Nobody
no,
listens to
no,
you.
no.
Anyways,
yeah.
FAO
Get your
Schwartz.
facts straight,
It was
motherfucker.
just supposed
It's
to.
Christmas time.
All right.
It's
It-
Christmas time.
Oh, you know what? You know what I just
Dude, that
realized?
song, that awesome song we just done that
Oh, you know what I
original
just
song
realized?
from Home Alone 2, remember?
You know what I just realized real quick? What I said was Home Depot. I was wrong about that. That was Big, which was FAO Schwartz, but that scene where they do the big piano thing
Yeah.
in Big, that scene wasn't actually filmed in FAO Schwartz. It was filmed at that Home Depot location. That's what I was mixing up. I'm sorry. What I said was Duncan's Toy Chest was not the Home Depot in New York.
Okay.
It was Big that was filmed in FAO
Well, it just
Schwartz, but
closed
then
down
that
in
scene,
2015.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't
just
that
2 years
long
ago. Yeah, July, I think. July 2015. Anyway, so I'm sorry. Go back to what you were saying because I really
My-
wanted to.
My point is that I think
Home Alone 2 did its job.
You said did it step up. I think it's a funnier film. It's a funnier than the first one.
It's more heartfelt.
But
more
hold on.
heartfelt.
Hold on.
Hold
Okay,
on.
say what you're saying because I got
It's
one
definitely
thing.
more heartfelt, but it wouldn't have been done without the first one. So they took elements from the first one because that was the Home Alone style of filming. That's what they did, and they used it on the second one. You can't film a different film.
Yeah,
you can't make Home Alone 2 Jurassic Park or something. It just doesn't make sense.
They
so
hit
they
the
took
same
the elements.
beats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they took
but
the
made
same
them
beats,
better.
the same elements, and they took it up a notch, which made it an incredible film. It wouldn't have happened if they didn't have the elements from the first one. I 100% agree. But they did it right, and I think that it's hard to say that it's a better film without the first one, but it is a better film.
I don't think it's a better film. I think it's a funnier film. And I can
think-
agree with
No,
that. Though
I
the
think
funniest line...
It's more
funniest,
heartfelt.
No,
though.
you
No,
don't.
I think they.
Well, you
no.
think the second one's more heartfelt?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. When she finds him in the
Absolutely.
park
Yeah.
with the lake, yeah, 100%.
The
yeah.
turtle
that whole
doves
conversation,
thing.
yeah, the whole conversation, yeah, no. 100%.
Duncan's toy chest with the
When they-
children
when the-
donating the money to the orphanage.
I'm sorry. That
All of that.
scene where the old man,
He's gonna
whatever the fuck-
Grinch the moment.
Okay, no. In the first movie,
I mean,
the
that's
old
heartfelt.
man.
Like if you know a neighbor that's having trouble,
No,
and you help him
but
out,
he's
like,
already but this is a guy that you feared, and then he saved his life at the end, and then he was in there watching his granddaughter.
That felt
at the
abrupt
choir.
to me.
Which one? Which scene?
That scene at the end of the first one.
When he
as a kid watching that, I was
When
like,
he
how is
saves
he
him?
going to get out of this? Like Kevin's dead, and then this old
It
dude
makes total
who was a
sense.
bad guy. There was no way to ever read that was going to happen.
No, he was in the church with him, and he made up with, and he basically got to know the guy when he was watching his granddaughter at the choir. Remember
Yeah,
that
but
whole
how did
scene
the old
make
man was going to show up at a house?
He's a neighbor. He's right there. He would have seen these guys with the treehouse situation, all that. Come on.
Maybe he heard some shit.
Come on! Don't even try to
did he
act
call
like
the
that's
police?
impossible.
Why did he call
Because
the
he got a big
police?
ass shovel and he came in and fucking took names. All right, listen.
Why did he call the police when he recognized that Kevin was home alone?
He obviously
days
did because the
before?
cops came. No, he didn't know that. Come on, man. What is he
The
supposed to be a
cops never show
pedophile
up.
peeking in the windows? Listen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's weird.
No,
No,
maybe not.
but that scene at the end when he looks through the window and he sees him actually making up with his son that he's had this really terrible relationship with, and Kevin had given him this advice in a way, which. And then
They
he
did
sees
better
him,
in the
and then
second
you
one.
see him smiling. He's holding his granddaughter, like hugging her, and then he looks and he sees Kevin, and Kevin smiles, and you can see like the tears in the old man's eyes. That is more satisfying than any emotional scene in the second movie, including with the bird lady. The bird lady was great, but there's no scene where she's like got her shit together or that anything has been rectified for that character. That character arc doesn't actually go anywhere. It's only about the friendship, which is cool. Like she makes a friend with Kevin, but I'm like, is he gonna call her? She doesn't have a fucking phone. Like,
I mean,
when's
she
he gonna see her
basically
again?
saved his life.
When's he gonna see her again? She doesn't have a fucking phone.
She saved his life, though.
She did. It was great, and she
Yeah.
did.
And that
absolutely.
scene was amazing when all those birds were attacking
Totally.
Marv, and he's like screaming.
It's
one
like
of my
walking the
favorite
Statue of
scenes.
Liberty down the streets of New York. It totally makes sense that she could just.
But like
the mom finds out, she sees him with her.
Yeah, at the
and
tree.
she realizes who her
Rockefeller
son
Center?
is. Yeah, who her son really is. You know,
like-
when she.
Yeah,
I mean,
she has that
there's-
recognition. Like
there's
he
such
loves
a-
Christmas. He's going to be. At
It
the
wasn't
tree.
just
That's where
about
it's
two
coming
people,
alive.
which is cool.
It wasn't just about two people. It was just this huge family moment that a mother sees.
And I
how
like when she loses
good
it
her
on the
son's-
cops. When she
How
loses it on
the
the cops.
fuck?
Yeah.
I'm sentimental moment, please. Sentimental moment, please.
You can't call it sentimental moment. Just
Now
'cause-
I can't because you ruined it with a cop.
I wasn't listening to you. I'll be honest.
I know you weren't.
I was already in the next.
You're
thing.
sexting.
What?
I see you with your phone.
No, I got something I want to read. Go ahead.
He's looking at Home Alone porn.
What's going on? Get back to your sentimental moment.
I don't know. No, I can't have a sentimental moment now because you ruined it.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You ruined it.
Anywho.
Why don't you cry about it? Shit.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
No.
I think that the second film hits these, like, pulls on these heartstrings so much more than the first. Like, the first film does a lot. You're right. I'm not going to discount that. But
right.
the second film just takes it to another level, I think, with the scene with Duncan, the scene with the mother,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the scene with the bird lady at the end.
Duncan and the doves.
Even when even when Kevin's talking to her at Carnegie Hall and they're having that whole conversation before, like, you know, everything's gonna happen. Like, it's just a really, you know, well fleshed out. Like all the scenes with the mom where she like comes back and
Yeah.
where were they? They were all in Florida.
They went to Florida. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like they
she
don't even have
flew-
Christmas trees.
It was her and the dad flew to New York, right? The mother and father. right?
No, it was just how did they get? jeez.
Because they were waiting for all the tickets or something. Like the flights were.
You know, I don't remember how they got back.
Is there like a
to New York.
hurricane? I don't
It was
know,
way
yeah.
more significant in the first one how it happened. Like
She
No,
was in New
she
York for
went
a
to the.
while.
She
No,
went
she
to
couldn't, but they got the flight the next morning, and they got there like 30 seconds after she got back to the house.
No,
at the end
didn't
of
she
the
go
first
there
one.
first?
Yeah.
In the first one, she was
No,
basically,
on the second one, didn't she fly to New York first?
probably, but was the
Yeah.
dad again a piece of shit and didn't like go with her?
I will say,
But yeah,
like,
you
in
know,
the
the
first
other
one,
It was because they only had one ticket. They only could get one
Yeah, I
ticket,
remember.
and they send the mom ahead, and they were coming the next
may
day.
have been, yeah, I remember.
there is this theme in the first film where like the mother is like, you know, if I don't get to my son, like it's the end of the world. And then when all the family show up in the first film, they're like, "Hey, Kevin, yeah, I'm glad you're still alive." Like
No,
who
he
gives
makes
a
up
fuck?
with Buzz. Hey, it's kind of cool you
No,
didn't
I
burn the
know.
house down. Thanks, Buzz.
Yeah,
Like, it's kind of cool because
That's this one weird scene.
No,
Everyone else is like, "Hey, Kevin, hey,"
Because
hey,
they're
slap
all-
him on the
they're
head.
all minor
and you're
characters.
Like, even the dad was just like, "Hey, son."
no, he picks him up
you're
and he
like,
hugs him
"What?"
and he twirls him around. The dad does that. I
He
literally
does.
just
He
had
does that.
no. I just edited that video together and I made sure that he was there. He grabs him and he picks him up and he spins him around like his dad embraces
you're right,
him
'cause he's like,
Yes.
"Kevin,"
Yeah,
and he runs
and in the
over.
second movie, see Buzz in the first one, he never really breaks and stops being a piece of shit. Right? He kind of just goes, "Hey, it's kind of cool you didn't burn the house down. Thanks, Buzz." That's kind of cool. That's he
In the
doesn't
second
actually-
movie, he gives him
second,
the first gift.
He gives him the first gift and it's that whole speech. Hey. The whole thing where he whistles and he can't
It's
whistle.
so good, dude.
It is great.
It's so good.
Buzz has some of the
But
greatest
see, it's not
moments.
just humorous. It's like clever and
Yeah.
it's like endearing.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, this is
But
this
no,
like interesting,
you want to talk about
funny
clever. I
family.
said the second one was funnier than the first one, but the first one has one of the funniest lines beyond just John Candy's lines about the whole thing where he left his kid in the fucking funeral home for several hours, where he improvised apparently that whole line
Oh, did he
about
improvise
how he
that?
left him in there. He goes, "We came back later and we got him, and he was fine. I mean, he's resilient. You know, kids bounce back. I mean, you know, he started talking a couple weeks later. It was so terrible." And she's like, "Let's just not talk about that." He goes, "Okay, well, you brought it up." While that whole thing with John Candy is great, there's this line that Buzz, where he's in the hotel in Paris, right? And the sister goes, "You're not at all worried that something might happen to Kevin?" And he goes, "No, for 3 reasons. A, I'm not that lucky. 2, we use smoke detectors. And D," can't even get it out. "And D, we live on the most boring street in the whole United States of America." That whole
Yeah.
A
That
to
was great.
D is
Yeah.
like hands down. I'd vote that as the greatest line out of both films combined.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
and he delivers
I'm not
it
gonna-
beautifully.
He does.
Like,
Everybody
straight
did their
face,
job in that
they
film.
did, they
Everybody
did.
was great.
They did. So, anyways, the point being, the first film
You
I think
should
is a
just
better
concede
film. Second one
because-
is more slapsticky, laugh out loud,
what?
funny.
No.
Even when he gets to all the hotel people
You're
on
saying
their knees.
better, but it's not calculating. Like
No.
I'm not understanding.
Let's
why.
talk about something for a second. The whole thing where he uses the dirty, filthy souls. What is it? What's the name of the movie within the movie that he watches? The mob movie in the first
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Dirty, filthy souls, and then it's dirtier, filthier souls in the second one. Neil. It was dirty, filthy souls. Was the
No,
name
it was
of
like
it?
Dirty Angels or something.
Dirty,
Hold on,
filthy
hold on.
angels, and then dirtier, filthier angels in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the first one, it makes a little more sense. He plays it. There's the pizza guy,
Yeah.
right? And then in the second,
Well, he wasn't allowed to watch that movie. I
And-
mean, it was like this adult movie, and he was home alone, so he could
I'm
watch
eating all the
whatever
ice
he wanted.
cream and watching trash. You better
Angels
come and
with
stop me.
filthy souls.
Yes, and then it was
and then Angels with even filthier,
Filthier
souls
Souls.
was the sequel, which is so
even filthier souls. It was
dude.
great.
It's oh my god.
Now,
Come on.
but let's talk about those two
Come
incidents
on.
because those are comparable. Again, he uses the same thing. Basically, it's the same device that he used in the first one. Now,
in the
but just say
second
real
one,
quick,
it's used so much better.
in a way that makes less sense, though. Is what I'm trying to
No,
say.
that's
No,
not true. They
In
were
the-
coming to like grab him and basically
because he had him engaging in the first one. Well, the scene with Marv. Marv's just listening to him, and it sounds like he's shooting. Now, I think he uses it twice in the first one. Once with the pizza guy. Does he use it with the pizza guy?
He uses it with the pizza guy.
and then he uses it with Marv. And Marv, there's no interaction.
Because
Marv
it's like
just
no
thinks
tip,
he's-
and he did it for fun with
Yes.
the pizza guy. That was like it was a setup for the
In the
scene
second
later.
one, he had it all ready to go just in case these people all
well, he
came
used
into
his
the
talk
hotel
boy
room.
too in the beginning of the film.
But
and
it's
he's
even
like-
so much more obvious because they're in the house. The other one, they're outside of the house through a door. This time, they're not even doing it through a door. They're right there in the hotel room. It's going to be obvious it's a TV.
no,
right?
not necessarily.
Yes, it absolutely would. This was
Nothing
Yes.
about the people that work at the Plaza Hotel is obvious to them. Like these guys couldn't notice anything. And then when
You've
the
been
gun,
smooching with everybody.
he turns up the volume and the gun starts firing.
Mo
and
with the
peop-
gimpy
and they're-
leg.
Yeah.
Cliff. What? It's simply not true.
All the like other tenants or whatever, like sticking their heads out, like, "Where's there gunshots going on?" Like, get your heads down.
There's a
And it was
madman with a gun.
Clearly, there was
There's a
very
madman
good
with a gun.
sound in the Plaza Hotel.
Yeah,
Suck
that's
brick,
ridiculous.
dick.
Yeah.
What did
What?
you say?
Suck brick, kid. The line in the film.
What line was that?
That was so abrupt.
It was. I'm reading lines of the film. I'm trying to compare lines right now. So
Suck brick kid. Is it when he throws it? Does he try to throw it at him?
And then he just moves out of the way.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
moves
yeah.
out.
Anyways, that whole scene with the bricks, I gotta give it. That's such a good scene where he keeps hitting Marv over and over, and Harry just keeps dodging the bricks. And there's no way this guy's still alive. Like even that's less plausible. Throw a brick from the top of a building.
It seems like you're talking more about the plot points of the second film than the
It's
first
like he's
film because you
trying to-
clearly love the second film
I'm
more.
saying they're more
I understand.
implausible.
It's like you're trying to make this could
But that's
really
not-
happen
that
in
doesn't mean
real
it's not
life, and
better.
it couldn't happen.
I think the
Home Alone
first is a
2.
better film. The second one has funnier slapstick. And I do love the whole New York thing. First
I
one
think you're
is
trying
a
to say
mo-
it's more grounded towards being realistic. The first one,
It's more
and
thought
the
put
second
into
one
it. It
is
had
not.
nothing to stand on before it, so it literally had to create everything from the ground up. The second one, all it had to do was update the basic beats of the first movie and the basic scenes of the first movie and fit it into a New York plot line. Honestly, it did do that.
But that doesn't make
which
it
I
a
thought
lesser
was great.
film,
No,
though.
it
Yeah.
doesn't. It was great. Like it really was great. But I'm just saying it comes in just behind the first one, in my opinion, because of those factors. The first one is a greater film. Second one has they upped the slapstick, and I thought that was great. But they did just take a lot of plots and beats of the first one and fit it into a New York setting in the second
But that was
one.
the formula for
Even
the film.
getting into the hotel room. Come on, that's implausible as a motherfucker. But that's fine, whatever.
But that was the formula of the film.
Yeah, they took the formula of the first one
Yeah.
as opposed to.
That was the formula of Home Alone.
All right,
so
wait.
they had to.
Here's the defining thing that'll decide whether or not which film is better
Yeah.
or worse. Did you get Talk Boy as a child?
I sure did.
That's
Done.
it. That's it.
Oh, really? So we
You
just want to go off of
concede.
toy sales
You
and
concede.
merchandise?
We're going off of Talk Boy.
merchandise?
You got
Yes.
a Talk Boy because Home Alone 2 was better.
Did you have any Star Wars toys when you were a kid?
No, I didn't.
What toys did you have as a kid?
He's
I had a Talk
This is
Boy
seriously-
because
Did you have
that's
any
all
ma-
that matters.
Did you have any
That's
Masters of the
all-
Universe
And I
toys?
used that shit for like a year after I had
Did you have
it.
any Masters of the Universe toys?
No.
Right, I guess because it just
I
wasn't.
wasn't a big
movie.
toy guy when it came to like toys that you would pretend. to
But you had
interact
a
with.
Talk Boy, is what you're saying.
I definitely had a Talk Boy.
Yeah, the Talk Boy was the shit. It was the number one seller. I actually, I actually saw this recently. It was the number one toy of the year or '92.
Oh, yeah.
I
93.
actually still have my Talk Boy and the original box that it came
Do
in.
you?
Yeah,
That's
I should bring it.
awesome.
I
You should bring
in the
it.
next Podcast, yeah.
They
For
had-
what?
they-
Are you going to
I-
show people in the podcast?
I actually have the original tape that it came with, and I don't know what's on there.
Take a
I
picture.
recorded
We'll-
some shit on there.
Take a picture.
Oh
and we'll-
shit!
I don't know what's
You
on
should
there.
we should bring it in and play it over
I mean,
the
I'm
podcast.
assuming it still works.
We'll play
or whatever.
it. They actually released a Talk Girl as well. I told you this.
The year
one
after.
of the last podcasts. I think it was the
Yeah.
same year actually.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a pink one, and the Talk Boy was gray. You know that was a non-working Talk Boy in that movie. Did you know that? It didn't work. It wasn't actually a thing. They had to make it after the movie came out, but like
Yeah.
that was not a functioning tape recorder. It was just a prop for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I feel like the one that came out was slightly different than the one in the film.
yeah,
I
maybe
feel like I remember thinking
'Cause it
that, like,
worked.
I
It's
rewatched.
very similar though. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it worked. It was very similar though. But either way, I did enjoy the second one a lot. I just think the first one's a better film, but the second one has a lot of great things that the first one didn't have. But the first one I feel like has just a better rounded movie than the second one.
What's your final statement, Neil?
I mean, they're both fantastic films. I love the first film because it is the original, and you wouldn't. I mean, you know, the second one wouldn't exist without the first one because the second one builds on a lot of the humor and a lot of the emotional connection with the characters from the first one.
Right.
So, but I think that Christopher Columbus and John Hughes, and John Williams, even with the score in the second film, like they all up their game significantly. And even Macaulay Culkin was fantastic in the second one. I thought his acting was better in the second one than the first one. I thought he was a better actor. I thought all the original family members that came back, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern,
Yeah.
everybody that came back from the first film into the second film, I thought upped their performance because they knew. I mean, the first film was a huge hit, so they all knew that they had to at least match or exceed what people expected of them.
Right.
And so I just felt like you got that in the second one. Like the second one, yes, there are elements that are Three Stooges and like, very slapstick and unrealistic where
Right.
people would clearly be dead. I feel like you do get some of that in the first film.
You do.
When he gets hit in the head with the paint can or whatever going up the stairs, like that would probably seriously injure somebody
Yeah.
significantly.
Right. A majority
for a
of
while.
stuff
They,
would,
they wouldn't
yeah.
just wake up and then,
Right.
But if as far as like something that's like a film that's all about Christmas and it's all about families coming back together, like families getting separated by this event and then coming back together and celebrating and having this kind of like underlying thing of like help your other people, like with the Duncan's Choy Chest, donating
Yes.
all that money to the orphanage.
Right.
Like there's just all this very Christmassy themes throughout both films.
Right.
But I feel like the second film, it's the film that I would want to watch over and over and over and over again.
Okay.
I would probably watch the first one like once or twice, but the second one I would watch. I've watched that a lot more than the first one because to me it's a funner, more entertaining,
Right.
more well-rounded film.
Right. I could see that.
It is more outlandish.
Right.
I do grant that, but I think that in many ways makes it better.
Yeah.
I think you said the key word, entertaining.
Yeah.
It's more entertaining.
Here,
than the
this
first
is
one.
the, as
It is
far
more
as I will
entertaining.
concede is I will say they're on the same level. That's like that as far as I'll go.
The whole point
ever
that you
say-
conceded is the whole. It's
No,
like,
no, no,
We'll take it.
it's
I-
just- all we need
yeah.
is time.
I'm just
All we
saying-
need is time.
No, I'm saying I will never say the second is better than the first, but I could say that because there's enough differences between the two, I wouldn't say the second is a direct copy of the first, which would be a problem if they did it again.
The
If-
word
honestly,
better and the context that goes behind it is very important here. And that's the problem, is that I don't want to use the word better.
Right.
Because the first one created elements of a film that made the second one
work.
made it work and took it up a notch.
Right.
So the word better, using the word better, I think it's very difficult because the first film was really great. It was incredible.
Yeah.
The second film was really incredible and some. So, and without the first film, you can't have that second film. But the word better is very hard because the film used the same formula, and
Right.
it's very difficult. It's like I think, yeah, this versus did not work out for me because in the end I'm like I don't know what to say
I'm willing to
because I agree with him and
Yeah.
understand your logic behind it. So I'm willing to say that I think it was an incredible series of films that people should watch, just up to the second one. The third
Yeah.
one kind of started going down.
Oh my god, they go south.
Yeah.
Did you know they actually shot Angels with Filthy Souls before they started principal photography on Home Alone?
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, it made
interesting.
sense because the film is in the film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Of course, that makes sense. Yeah, you have to have it done. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
we found the
there's a whole-
logic in
there's a
that
whole-
one.
Yeah, there's a whole
No, I'm
Vanity
just kidding.
Fair article just on that film.
Yeah.
That's in Home Alone and two different films on Home Alone
Right.
and Home Alone 2.
Right.
Interesting.
Anyway, so if you're willing to, I'm willing to concede and say that they're on equal.
I'm not going to
footing.
concede.
All right. Well, then this is gonna be a long ass podcast.
Well, here's the thing.
Put on a pot of coffee.
Wait, what are you going to
Here's-
say? Let's
here's
hear
the
it.
here's the thing. Look, let me say this: is that your rationality to films is it entertaining?
Yes, totally.
And the second one was more entertaining than the first one.
I don't know.
And so I give
I
you
never said
I
that.
give
never said
that.
You know.
No, I never
You
said
don't
that
have
you
to
said the
say
second
it.
one.
You've
I'm saying that
referenced
you
the
said
second one a
the
thousand
purpose of a
times.
film is to entertain.
Yes,
that's
totally.
what you said.
That's my philosophy.
He said that the second one is more entertaining than the first one,
Right.
and I agree with that.
Yes.
It was more of an adventurous film. Just him walking around with a Polaroid and just having that tourist feeling and going through everything that he went. It was
It's
more
just-
entertaining than the first one.
Right. It's just
To me.
because Neil thinks Ghostbusters 2 is better than Ghostbusters 1.
Oh my God.
His
It is better.
argument is invalid. That's as simple as that. Now, here's the thing: is I think that the second one, unfortunately, there is a bit. The word laziness comes out because that's just all I can think of. There's a bit of laziness in the fact that they
There's
See,
so
I
much
don't
more
agree
work
with.
went into
See, I
the
think the
second
only
one.
reason
let me
I don't
say-
agree with him is because his terminology is just way off.
they went back to the first one and mined popular scenes from the first one.
But that
and
makes
redid
that's the
them.
reason the second one works.
I get that totally. I get it.
It was
I'm
If
just-
you make a
necessity.
product that works, and you just upgrade it.
What if
to
they did it a
some-
third time? How would you feel?
This is like why they released the iPhone 5 and then they released the iPhone 6. Like they're not going to create an iPhone A. B.
That is true. That's why the Samsungs keep blowing up. That's true. All right, but here's how I
You
feel.
build on what you've already
I
created.
know.
That's what works.
You build until it's a nuclear
That's
bomb
not an
encased in a
argument.
small phone. Anyways, no, I'm just saying I'm willing to
Guy's
concede
reaching.
that the second,
This guy is
He's
reaching
trying
so
to-
hard.
He's fine.
Here's what I'm saying.
all right.
I was literally
We
extending
know
an
we
olive
won.
branch. I was
We know
extending
we
a
won.
truce, and
No,
you didn't
you
want to take
weren't.
me spat in my
No,
face.
no. So there's a difference between a
wiped your
truce
ass with the
and a Nick
contract.
truce. Yeah. You have liability behind your truce.
No, I was
That's-
like, hey,
that's
listen,
the
I'm willing to
problem.
concede and say that they're equal footed because I do love the second one.
I feel
love
like
the
you're
first
irrationally holding on to this first one being better.
one. No, I just think it's a better, more rounded film. I really do. I feel like it's got less holes, less implausibilities, less. I think as a film, it's just more solid than the second one. The second one,
But you
has
already
a lot
said
of
on a desert
laugh
island
out.
you would watch the second one.
I said that as a joke. That was just me joking. I haven't thought about it. I wanted you to ask me again because I was wondering what I actually would think. I'd have to
Okay,
chew on
Nick.
that.
Which one would you watch?
I don't know. I really don't. This is why I think that they're
Wait to the
equal.
end of the theme song.
No, I don't know, Alex. I don't give a fucking shit about your show.
I thought he was going to wait too.
I thought he was gonna
I
wait
was
too.
going to, but I'm like, this isn't fair to the people listening. That's like so fucking unfair. They're like, dude, we get it.
They
That's
loved it. They were doing it too.
They weren't doing it.
were doing
Okay, but here's how I feel. This is why when you asked that question, I really did think about that, and I went, you know what? I really consider them equal in my head. I'm gonna do that.
all right.
If you don't want
We'll
to
take
concede to that,
I'll take that. I'll
okay,
take
fine.
that.
I really thought about it.
I don't
was like,
think
you know
they're
what?
equal, but I will take that.
Okay, fine. You don't have to. For me, I'm now looking at it going, you know
I will
what?
accept your resignation.
I have my reasons for both of them having more strengths than the other. Like each one has strengths that the other one doesn't have. Each has flaws. I mean, I feel like the second one has more flaws, but I feel like its strengths make up for its flaws in the second one. So I'm gonna put them in the same thing, and I'm gonna say they're equal.
So you're saying in your head it's a continuous battle.
in my head, yes.
Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us in this
He's just like,
battle
I'm getting out of this.
Yeah,
podcast.
I need to get out because I think it's hard. I understand. It's very difficult. They're two incredible films, and I enjoy them both. And
They're
I
both
hope-
great.
They're both great. They're
Watch
both
both of
incredible
them.
films.
Yeah.
Watch both
If
of
you've
them.
never seen them,
And
If you've
Watch
never
them.
seen him,
yeah,
kill yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
and see the
Okay.
excitement of bad parenting.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it really is all what it's about.
It's about
When
bad
she's on
I
a
parenting.
mean,
plane
they got
in the
like
second one.
how
How
many?
did-
Wait, how many kids do the McAllister family actually
first
have?
one.
Like,
Yeah.
how many children are there?
Yeah, because there's cousins in there. There's
Yeah.
4. I think there's
There's three.
no.
A
because
sister and a
there's
brother.
redheaded kid. There's the blonde girl. There's Buzz, and there's Kevin. That's
So
4.
that's four? I
But
thought
the
they were cousins.
Mike-
There's 4 in the main family.
Yeah, 4 in the main
McAllister.
family. The rest are cousins. Like his actual brother,
Okay,
Kieran or
all right.
whatever, is a cousin.
I thought it was
the,
3.
The, the,
Yeah,
tall,
I know
the
that kid.
oldest looking one with the brown hair.
That's right,
Who
it
did
is
the
4,
count
yeah.
in the first one?
Yeah.
She's a cousin.
The little
I think.
brother, the older brother Buzz, and then the sister, and then
might have been
Kevin.
sister.
They should
Yeah.
do a reunion.
It's either
with
4
all
or
of
5.
those.
They
Yeah.
probably have. I think they have. Because
That'd be
John
cool.
Hurd, unfortunately, rest in peace, the father died a couple months
Yeah.
ago. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so yeah, just watch them both. I mean, they're both, I think, comparable and both Christmas movies. They really are.
Both incredible Christmas movies.
And you know what? They both offer something. Sometimes you're like, I'm in the mood for an adventurous New York film, and now a cozy suburban film, and they both just kind of tackle both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good meet in the middle right
yeah.
there.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us at Get to the Podcast. That's Get to the Podcast with the number 2. I'm Diego D'Souza,
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
and have a happy holidays.
You filthy animals.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.